Hey guys, so I have a really special guest for you today. Karla Ebrahimi of Sky of Blue Cards is a longtime supporter of the Paper Chronicles and now the Paper Nerd and the Paper Fold. So many of my readers already know about her exquisite letterpress cards and magnificent letterbox subscription box. However, the reason I invited her here today is because of something I noticed her doing over the past several years. It's interesting for me to observe brands doing this individually, but it's also indicative of larger trends at play. Consumers, especially millennials and Gen Z, or Zoomers, like to buy product that earmarks either a portion of sales or a portion of profits to causes and charities that speak to their hearts. Meanwhile, stationery is really well positioned to run with this, as it's filled with creatives that not only generate compelling, witty, original product, but they can figure out how to do good as they sell their work. So in 2018, when the California wildfires broke out, Karla, who lives in Menlo Park, donated 50% of her sales between Black Friday and Cyber Monday to the American Red Cross. From that experience, when COVID-19 hit, she came up with the Reach Out and Write Someone promotion that runs through the end of July. Through it, 20% of all her online sales will go to 3 charities that Karla specifically and thoughtfully chose. But things really took a turn after George Floyd was murdered. Karla was upset enough that she felt the need to start painting again, and her portrait of George Floyd, called Last Words, that she shared with her Instagram following, had some interesting results, both positive and negative. She also then decided to create a Black Lives Matter collection of stickers, mugs, and cards, and took herself out of the equation entirely, with all of the profits being donated to the NAACP Legal Defense and Educational Fund. So it's been quite an evolution with many lessons learned along the way, which I'll let Karla share with you after this. Hi, everyone. I'm back and I'm here with Karla. Karla, welcome to the Paper Fold.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here and so excited for your new podcast, and have been listening to it. Love it. I told you were up there with you're right up there with Brene Brown and Michael Barbaro in my feed. So thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much for being here, and I'm so flattered to be in that company. Obviously I've been a fan and observer of your range for years, and I've just sort of been watching how you as a human and as a maker are responding to everything that's been going on. But to back up just a little bit, you mentioned to me that you've tried your hand at many things, but stationery is where you feel at home, and which you sort of realized after you found cards you'd made for your mom as a teenager.
Yeah,
which is so sweet.
Thank you.
Can you share with our listeners the different things that you've tried and how you came back to paper by establishing Sky of Blue?
Yeah, sure. We were speaking about our love for this industry and how we ended up in stationery. And I was mentioning that I've always loved stationery, even as a little girl. And I actually, my career sort of come full circle in a sense that I started working when I was right out of college for Hallmark Cards in Kansas City, and which was a great start. And then I moved to San Francisco and had to take on different jobs in retail and different in the restaurant industry. Sure. And then
I've waited tables and served drinks. There's nothing to be ashamed of.
That's why we're good tippers now.
Exactly.
Anyway, I then started getting jobs in the Bay Area, doing graphic design, working for different software companies, and doing package design and interface design, and then began freelancing and doing designing some really corporate stuff. And then I got kind of bored with it and just I couldn't take it anymore. I couldn't stomach like designing the next I don't know, chart that was going to be recycled in a meeting, in a conference room somewhere. And I don't know, I just couldn't stomach it anymore. And I've always, like I said, I've always loved stationery. And so I just decided to take this leap of faith and design some cards, some holiday cards at that time. And started with just a tiny little website with a small offering of cards, and launched Sky of Blue Cards. And 2 days after I launched Sky of Blue, my mom passed away.
Oh my gosh, and I'm so sorry. I never knew that. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I know. And thank you. And so shortly after she passed, my brother and sister and I were going through all of her things. And I took home a bunch of stuff, like personal, like letters and things like that, and put it in a bin. And I was going through it in my garage one day, and I found all these she saved everything. She saved all the cards we ever gave her. And apparently, I really don't remember doing this, but I made a bunch of cards for her, Mother's Day cards, birthday cards, anniversary cards. And anyway, it just felt like I saw those and I was like, wow, I've been making cards since I was, I don't know how old, 11 or, and anyway, so it just felt right. Like it just felt like, okay, I'm here. I'm home. I came back to what I've always loved. And it never feels like work to me. I say that all the time to people. It just, you can be designing things in your sleep, you wake up and you put it together and make it a card. But so that's sort of my background and how I came into this and why I love it so much.
Wow, that's so beautiful and serendipitous, and so much else. And what a wonderful way to kind of like honor those family relationships as you are able to play that role in other people's lives.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's great. Thank you.
So, over the past several years, we've seen more and more sort of both gift and stationery makers get more and more involved in sort of cause related sales, by which I mean, a maker will say, well, I'm donating 20% of my sales of this card to the ACLU or, whatever organization. You first started doing that following the California wildfires a few years ago. Can you share what kind of process you went through to find a charity to align with via your range?
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, so we were responding to the California wildfires back in 2018 by having our initiative of. I think it was over Black Friday weekend, where we were going to donate 50% of all sales, I should say,
Sure.
from our website that weekend. And we chose American Red Cross and the California Community Foundation's wildfire relief, and split the donation between those two organizations. And later, when we were going to make the donation, a week or so after that campaign ended, we couldn't specify with American Red Cross how that we wanted it earmarked for the camp. It was called the Camp Fire, and in Butte County, and it was just going to go to American Red Cross,
Sure.
which is an amazing organization. But it felt kind of like, oh, we really want this. This is what we did this for, and we really want this to go to the fire. But by then, I think they had enough donations, and they had moved on to maybe even another wildfire. There were so many that year.
I know. I searched for California wildfires just to try to date it, and like Google was no help at all because there are so many.
I know it's getting worse and worse, unfortunately. That year was particularly horrible, and it was just, I mean, we were all walking around with masks, kind of like now. And and
Sorry,
it's
not funny.
no, it's
but
not
it is.
funny. It's funny, but not funny. And um, anyway, so then having that experience behind us, fast forward a couple of years, and we're in the middle of coronavirus, and COVID-19 is taken hold. And so throughout the whole shutdown, I've been writing a ton of letters, and I just have been writing and sort of sharing my thoughts about everything that we're all going through. And it's just so therapeutic. And you think about what you're experiencing being such a unique thing and in our history, and getting that down on paper and like sharing that thought with somebody. And it's just so nice to get mail. And I've been getting a lot of personal mail too from friends and family, letters and such. And so I was just talking to my husband about it, and how, how can we sort of turn this into something that we can do good with, this idea of writing. And then he is so good. He's so good with words, I swear. And then he's like, I know, reach out and write someone. And I said, yeah, that's great. That's what we can name this campaign, or like get out, reach out and write someone who you love. And what are we going to do with that? Let's donate. Let's get people to write letters. And so they're buying cards from us, hopefully. And then let's take a percentage. Sure. In this case, it's 20% of online sales. And this time, let's do more research and vet the different organizations that we want to split the donation with. And so we've came up with 3: World Central Kitchen and Restaurant Workers Community Foundation and Artist Relief Fund. And each one has we have a special reason why we chose those. And so that's what we're doing. And it's all sales online through June and July. So
I mean, that's beautiful. I love it. And I love that your husband came up with it.
He's the best.
My husband helps me with things too. Like when I was judging the noted product awards, the final thing, I was sort of between 2 cards, and I showed him, and he was like the tiebreaker, my objective observer. So I love that. And I think it's great. And for the past several months, I've been saying, stationery needs a Reach Out and Touch Someone campaign, based on the old Bell commercials, like from the 70s and 80s. And so I love how it plays on it. It's brilliant. And, good for you for putting it out there.
You. It's funny that Reach Out and Touch Someone. I know that was the Bell. I couldn't remember what that came from, but it was the Bell, because he was like, reach out and touch someone, but it's reach out and write someone.
Yeah. I mean, it's really funny. You can actually go on YouTube, because I wrote about this for one of my editor's letters. So I researched it, but you can go on YouTube and find the old Reach Out and Touch Someone commercials. And they're really interesting because they're taking this piece of technology and putting it in these very emotionally charged situations, the stay-at-home mom going to an interview to go back to work, and her son calls her and talks her up and makes her feel good, and she goes out and gets it. And it's a beautiful thing, and it and hopefully it helps people feel like a little less isolated in all this.
Yes. I'm just, I think it's something that's so important to do right now, is just to get our thoughts about this, everything that we're going through down. And it's just good to write to someone who is also sitting at home and, going to their mailbox once a day and getting a letter from someone that they love is just so special. So,
Absolutely. I mean, like it just helps us all process it. So,
yeah.
So then in the midst of all this, to quote you yesterday when we were chatting, you said, quote unquote, revolution broke out. And so
Yeah, yes, it did. It did. So, I had to look and see I think we launched, Reach Out and Write Someone. And by the way, I'd love to speak to why we chose those three
Oh,
organizations.
sure. I'm
And,
sorry. I didn't
and
mean to get
no,
ahead
it's
of that.
okay.
You can,
No.
let's
We
talk
can
about
go.
those.
Well, we can go back to it too, but so the world, just to speak about the World Central Kitchen, I mean, everyone knows Chef Jose Andres, and he's like the most amazing, empathetic, innovative human being, and that organization is so stellar, and they're providing meals to families in need during COVID-19, and the people, seniors and immune compromised individuals who can't leave their home, and healthcare workers on the front line, and literally millions of meals. And so that is one, just such an amazing organization that we picked that one as one of the three. And then the second one is Restaurant Workers Community Foundation, which sort of hits close to home for us because, first of all, it's an organization that provides emergency funds, 50% of which go directly to restaurant workers. 25% is zero interest loans to keep restaurants running, and 25% to nonprofits serving restaurant workers. So we have friends locally here in Menlo Park, but Palo Alto is a town close, right next to us. Mm-hmm. And we have friends who own a restaurant, and we've just watched them just so beautifully have to, pivot, and just they're just amazing, and they're having to like figure out how to do, their different other sort of business models, and since they can't have people come in the restaurant anymore. And anyway, so that was a reason why we chose that one. It just felt like, I mean, restaurants are really hit hard, and who knows when they're going to really come back completely. And then the last one, Artist Relief Fund, that's a fund for artists who are impacted by coronavirus and in dire need, and they can apply for a $5,000 unrestricted emergency grant through that fund, which is amazing. And again, we have several friends who are artists who make their living solely on their art, and this is just one way in which we can help. So that is why we chose those three, and the funds, the donations will go exactly where we want them to go, and it's great. So
yeah, I love it. That's amazing. That's amazing. Those are three amazing causes. And of all, I've heard of a lot of restaurants, based charities, obviously a lot to, different care organizations, but I love that you thought about the artists because you don't hear much about them in all of this. And it's really nice that you're, supporting the people who, ply their trade through that. And probably not too many people are buying art right now.
No. I know it's kind of like probably the first thing that just gets, taken off your to-do list. And it just felt right.
Right. Yet at the same time, it's the artists who do the heavy lifting of helping us express ourselves, when we're going through things like that. And, we need them more than it's sort of, to my mind, universally acknowledged. So I think it's beautiful.
Yes,
so
thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm really happy with the way it all turned out, and the organizations we kind of fell in love with. So
right. I mean, it must be a neat process to research it, and I'm sure you looked at a lot more than three organizations in weighing it, and so it must have been an interesting process to just sort of go down the start that journey and seeing what you find. and
Yes.
seeing how the different organizations make a difference, and seeing which ones particularly speak to you the most.
Yeah, absolutely. And it did take a few days to do that, just to go through them all. And there are just so many amazing organizations out there, and just people are doing such good work. It's really heartwarming in this trying time, that's for sure.
Absolutely. Well, it's beautiful. I got a little bit ahead of myself by talking about revolution a few minutes ago,
I
but,
know. It's almost the most important thing that we need to talk about.
but we are going to get to the revolution right after this short break. Hey, paper peeps. So, by now, many of my listeners are familiar with the force of stationary nature, better known as Girl with Knife. But if you aren't, time to change all that. From the first moment I spied her booth at her New York Now trade show debut in 2019, I was smitten with this cutting edge range that the world was calling out for. We all just didn't know it yet. Everything is nimbly collaged to life, slice by careful slice by the talented and exquisite Alicia Castaldi. This stylish collection of cards, journals, and notepads that have sprung to life under this fashionista's exacting knife is sharp, snarky, sleek, and occasionally very sweet, just like that BFF who would love to hear from you right now. For that reason, whenever I get my hands on Girl with Knife merchandise, I hoard it and use it most sparingly. Alicia recently launched Gift Wrap, and if you're already a fan of her range, you're familiar with her patterns and quality, but these super thick sheets elevate any gift from off the rack to atelier. Her recent releases of Midnight Botanical, Rare Creatures, and Chasing Dreams bring the total styles that slay up to 10. And if you're like me and that you fall in love with a range and want to reside in that world, you're in luck. Alicia recently unveiled Knife House, which was one of the few good things I can think of that came out of 2020. That was when Alicia shifted her operation from LA to this newly renovated concept home in Palm Springs. This completely private, walled and gated estate features panoramic mountain views and countless luxe surprises. Take a tour through its magnificent blush pink doors at www.knifehousepalmsprings.com or find it on Instagram at Knife House Palm Springs. Good luck getting your jaw off the floor as you take in this perfect California adult playground. These glamorous digs are available for photo shoots, film projects, special events, and short-term rentals. But just as importantly, all that exquisite Palm Springs flora and fauna have inspired Alicia's soon-to-be-released journal and notepads. She tells me that they're also expanding into home decor, which I, for one, absolutely can't wait to see. So now that you've glimpsed this wonderful world, you need this cutting edge lifestyle brand in your life. Find Girl with Knife in hundreds of shops across the US and over half a dozen countries. Alicia and Girl with Knife have also been featured in New York Magazine, LA Business Journal, BuzzFeed, and of course, Stationery Trends. I've run her work there countless times. Alicia was one of our 10 designers to watch in 2020 and proceeded to live up to that designation when last May, 2 out of her 3 nominated cards took chap honors at the Noted and Noted virtual greeting card competition. Then, for our winter 2021 issue of Stationery Trends, Alicia designed the 10 designers to watch frontispiece for us. It is something else if you haven't seen it yet. Also, as of 2021, Alicia is represented by none other than the Daniel Richards showrooms in Atlanta and Dallas. Dan's eye is renowned in this biz, so his representing Girl with Knife is unsurprising, but it also means that this brand needs to be on your design radar stat. Check out this beguiling range at the recently refreshed girlwithknife.com. Right now, the theme is Season of Fierce, and I think we can all use one of those about now. I guarantee your stationery will slay. Okay, and I'm back with Karla. So as you had mentioned, and I had mentioned earlier, in the middle of this reach out and write someone, to quote you, revolution broke out. So for this sort of your third initiative, third cause related initiative in a short time. Yes. Instead of just donating a portion of sales, you generated original product, mugs and letterpress cards, and you just said, forget it. 100% of the profits are going to the NAACP Legal Defense and Educational Fund.
Yes.
So yesterday when we were chatting, we briefly talked about the importance of white people sort of like listening as opposed to, speaking in these times as we try to be the best allies we can. So with that being said, I want to hear how this experience has been for you so far.
Thank you for the question. Yeah, we launched the Reach Out and Write Someone campaign for COVID relief. And then I think just 1 or 2 days later, the protests started, and we all witnessed that terrible video of George Floyd, and it just kind of got swept up into that, and like the nation did, and we did here in the studio, and I think I started. I just, we were all, everyone's upset, and I think I told you this when we spoke earlier, that I've been painting more. I think we were talking about just whatever you can do to get through the day.
Sure.
During all of this, during everything, all of the COVID, while you're home and you can't go anywhere. And so I've sort of picked up the paintbrushes and have been painting more. I just painted this painting of George Floyd, and it's called Last Words, and it's his last words. And it just was something that just had to come out of me. Like it just came out. And I've never really posted any of my personal artwork before on my Sky of Blue Instagram account. And so I posted that, and I just wanted all of my followers to know that I am, especially my Black followers, like I'm with you. I'm 100% with the Black Lives Matter movement. And so after that, I was like, what can I do for how can I best serve this movement? And so I decided that I wanted to, design those as 3 styles. The Black Lives Matter card, vinyl sticker, and mug. And then there's Racial Justice Now and No Justice, No Peace. And 100% of the profit it's all going to the NAACP Legal and Educational Fund. So, and we put those cards out on the Instagram, and now we're waiting for everything to be produced and put up on our website for sale, and then I'll really push it out, market it so that we can get that money to the ACP. So that's where that came from.
Sure. Yeah. They're beautiful. It's a lovely play on positive and negative space. All the designs are great. I can't wait to see them I've just seen the sample shots that you sent me, but they look amazing.
Right.
And
thanks so much.
I really like it. And it's they're very graphic, and I'm sure they're going to be amazing.
Oh, thanks. Yes. They're thank you so much. They'll hopefully be up on the website next week. So for sale.
Wow.
So,
that's great. Yeah. That's fast. That's like what, 2 or 3 weeks?
I gotta get put to printing. But yeah, they should be up there for sale next week.
That's awesome. Yeah. That's awesome. So now you did mention to me that when you did post that painting that you lost some followers on your Instagram feed. Yeah. I know this type of thing is not just isolated to you. So what has been your response to that happening?
Well, I, of course, don't care at all about any followers who take offense to Black Lives Matter, the cards, the George Floyd painting. I mean, it was both of those. With both of those posts, I just saw like my followers drop, and I just think it's sad that there are racist people that find that offensive,
Right.
And it's unfortunate, and I don't know why they were following me, but go away.
Like if that offends you, you don't know anything about me or my work. But
yeah,
but,
yes. So it's kind of like good riddance. It's like a flushing, and it's good because then let's make room for people to find me who believe in this stuff and believe in racial justice and equality, and but it was it's definitely eye-opening experience to see that just happen in front of your eyes.
Absolutely. So. Yes. Yeah. I mean, like I've encountered that a little bit. I mean, with my with the paper nerd and the paper fold, I am pretty much, what you see is what you get. If I object to something, I'm going to say something. And what confuses me when I heard that you had lost the followers, like, why would someone take the time to unfollow you? Like, why not just keep scrolling if it doesn't speak to you? Like I really don't get. But
you're right. I mean, it takes time to go and unfollow. It's like, okay.
but I do think that, like I said, I do think the situation corrects itself. I think the people who are following you and supporting you and taking advantage of these great promotions are, that's the clientele to focus on. And, so.
Right. And now's not the time to be silent. If you believe, if you believe in racial justice, equality, for our Black community, now as a white person, now is not the time to be silent about it. You have to just put it out there and, voice your support in every way that you can. And honestly, just like, I don't know if you've read the book or heard of it, but the How to Be an Anti-Racist by Ibram Kendi. And so just working daily to be an anti-racist, as opposed to saying I'm not racist, is something that we all need to be doing right now. And so just, I'm going to be putting them out there a lot. So.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
The difference between saying I am not racist, there's something sort of like passive about that statement, whereas I am anti-racist means, you take action whenever and however much you need to, as the situation calls for it. So
absolutely.
But thank you for all that you do, and thank you so much for joining me in the paper fold. I'm so happy that I was able to have you here.
Thank you, Sarah. It's an honor. Honestly, I'm just so excited for you and your podcast. It's just such a cool thing, and I look forward to hearing more and more episodes in the future. But thank you so much. It's an honor to be here.
Hey, Paper Peeps. So Kitty Meow Boutique has been a fabulous client of mine for a while now. So hopefully many of my listeners are familiar with not just the dazzling wares from this Chicagoland house of paper, but also its amazing founder, a force of nature better known as Catherine Hildner. This mom of two, with another scheduled to arrive soon, has created a most intoxicating stationery range. I define the Kitty Meow aesthetic as polished and very smart. Think of the sharpest outfit you own that you feel like $1 million in, but in stationery form. Everything from typography to envelope choice comes together to pack a most enticing punch. But this range is not just about the surface, it's about honoring those connections with those we care about most. And you'll see once you visit kittymeowboutique.com that the wares are divided into witty and sweet because, as Catherine puts it, sometimes you feel a little saucy and sometimes you don't. But Kitty Meow Boutique is so much more than just another pretty face in the marketplace. The empowering messaging found on her cards, invitations, journals, coasters, art prints, and enamel pins elevates the range into something that makes you feel not just seen, but good about yourself too. Everything is essentially a little lift, visually and emotionally, for not just those you love, but you as well. Not only is Kitty Meow available for your personal shopping needs, it's also available wholesale to all those shops looking for something new with which to excite their customers. She's on Fair. Visit kittymeowboutique.fair.com and get your shop started. Finally, I think what I love about Catherine most is that she is really all about living your best life, as you'll see for yourself beneath the education tab on her site. She offers KMB Signature Collective, a mastermind for women in the product-based business world who have a love for paper and giftable items, who have an idea and a plan, but need guidance and support to be successful in their efforts. I so agree with Catherine. It's so important to be surrounded by like-minded women and leaders who are willing to put in the work to lift each other up. For that reason, it's not a course. It's a friggin' transformation, people. And Catherine has also started my second favorite podcast, Dreams to Plants, with another brilliant force of nature, my girlfriend Renee, to elevate your daydreams to actual, tangible plants. Oh, and if you're on Clubhouse, follow Kitty Meow so you can tune in to her weekly room Wednesdays at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's called Small Business Savvy, Insider Secrets You Need to Know. I checked it out for myself last week, and it was just the dose of inspiration and confidence my day needed. So get those good vibes going at kittymeowboutique.com and tell them Sarah sent you. Thank you so much, Karla, for being in the paperfold. Seeing these makers take these small but very important steps, I think empowers us all, especially when they are making the medium through which we communicate with one another. I also wanted to note that while Karla did lose some followers, her community is the stronger for all of this. The post in which she shared her painting on Instagram got 178 likes and 33 shares, which Karla says is a really good number for them. On Facebook, it was shared at least a few dozen times, and people were also saving the image to their phone and then posting it on their own pages on all platforms, which Karla did give permission for in the caption. Karla also received inquiries to purchase a print of the painting. She told me she would never even consider it unless 100% of the profit went to Black Lives Matter. But even so, she doesn't think selling George Floyd's image is appropriate. People also used it on their protest signs. Karla did get requests for permission to do that. And then other people also told her they saw her image on other people's signs at some protests. So meanwhile, with the Black Lives Matter collection, Karla has been getting messages and texts asking to pre-order items, as well as interest in purchasing stickers or mugs in bulk for sports teams and other groups. This is all super positive, and that is what Karla is choosing to focus on. And really, that is our greatest strength as paper people, the ability to inspire and bring people together. Thank you all so much for listening this far. Please subscribe to The Paperfold on any of my platforms, and please give me a shout with anything I can do for you. Stay well, all.